Welcome!
Welcome to the Omniverse of Nick, and Part 5 to What If Breakdown joined the Autobots. Before we get into it, be sure to check out the Omniverse's homepage, where our channel mascot Omni will direct you to the Discord, every Google Doc, as well as everything the Omniverse has to offer, along with smashing the like button, subscribing to the Omniverse of Nick, sharing the Omniverse around and turning on all Omniversal notifications, and commenting future requests and expectations in the comments section. With all that said, let's begin. We open up where we left off with Breakdown confronting Ratchet about getting more synthetic energon. But then he says, "Even I know that it's useful. We shouldn't let such a valuable tool go to waste." And he gets a tube of it for himself. So now, Breakdown and Ratchet have synthetic energon. They get to the scene where they're at the energon mine, and Ratchet goes into attack. And you get to the scene where he interrogates the miner and is about to kill him. But whenever Optimus stops him, Breakdown says, "Don't worry, Optimus. I got this." And he gets a hammer and says, right in front of Optimus and everybody else, and Knockout and Arachnid and everyone, "Sorry, Optimus," and pulls out his hammer and says, "This has to happen this way." And everyone's thinking Breakdown just went bad, because then they look at his eyes and clearly see, no, Breakdown has the synthetic energon. But then he slams it into Ratchet, causing him to fall straight to the ground. This was all a ruse. He was using Ratchet to expose him for using more synthetic energon. And now he's paid the price. Optimus stares down at Ratchet and says, "While Breakdown didn't need to use the excessive force that he did, the way that this was handled kept you alive. The synthetic energon has impaired your judgment. Action was needed." And he says that he's confining Ratchet to base until further notice. And then he tells Breakdown, while the force heat that he used was unnecessary, it kept the whole fact that Ratchet is going to be alive and not try anything again. And he's also glad Breakdown didn't use a great amount of synthetic energon like Ratchet, because who would know the effects with Breakdown? And Breakdown says, "I've been trying to prove my worth. I hope that this has solidified it, Optimus." And Bumblebee and RC have finally come around to, trusting Breakdown. As for Knockout and Arachnid, that's a different story. Bulkhead fully is on board and trusting his rival at this point, and the two get to talking and make sure to not only safeguard and stash away the synthetic energon, but to have a new understanding of each other, especially considering this has happened. Ratchet, though, he is infuriated because he hasn't been, impaled or, yeah, he had a hammer slammed into him, but, he beat Breakdown in canon. So the fact that Breakdown attacked him here, that's not going to get him to sway back like it did whenever Megatron punched him. So he is infuriated and wants Megatron and all the Decepticons here dead. And he fills himself with synthetic energon while no one is paying attention, and when he has the perfect chance, because he is the medic after all, and he is in the base. And he knows that if he wants to get to Megatron, if he wants to do this plan, he has to wait for the perfect opportunity. And then he thinks of a plan, and he knows when the time comes, not only will Megatron die, but every Decepticon here. Any Autobot that stays in his way will meet the same fate. because this is turning into a much darker Ratchet. Optimus knows of the prophecy of a rising darkness and tells the Autobots it's time that they prepare for something that will change this world and all Cybertronian and Earth life forever. The threat of a rising darkness as we get to Unicron's emergence and Megatron's goal for the Dark Energon. Ratchet is at the base alone, with synthetic energon stored, while Arachnid and Knockout are safeguarding the ground bridge and the rest of the base. Breakdown, RC, Bulk, and Optimus go to stop the cons from getting the power source. B has Raphael, who was shot by Megatron. Megatron smiles at this and says, "Seems like I swatted a bee and squashed a bug." And then he looks over and sees, well, well, well. It would also seem that this is a day of renewing old acquaintances, isn't it? Breakdown. And yeah, then the rest of it goes as it did in canon. Knockout is told to open the ground bridge. They must have an Autobot down. But then Ratchet, this is the perfect chance for him to strike. Not through that bridge, no, but while Knockout and Arachnid are off guard. He punches Knockout square in the face, and then, with all the synthetic energon that he's materialized and stolen, he grabs Arachnid, and he tells her, "You're coming with me." And he goes in vehicle mode with Arachnid tied down on the back of his vehicle mode and speeds out of there at the speed of light. And he gets his scanner out when he's far, 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 far away from the base. And he contacts Starscream, who is still on the ship, mind you, and says, "I need your help, and I think you'll like where this plan goes, even if it's coming from an Autobot." Why is Ratchet teaming with Starscream, of all people? Why did he kidnap Arachnid? And what is this plan with this darker form of Ratchet because of the synthetic energon materializing itself and staying longer inside Ratchet? And what will be leading into with this plan and the canon story for Unicron with our team in Breakdown joining the Autobots?
Now get out!
What?
Get out! Everybody get out!